You are listening to the best of the Classic Metal Show podcast. Catch the Classic Metal Show every Saturday from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. Eastern Time over at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. The following podcast is sponsored by the Pennsylvania Coin-Operated Gaming Hall of Fame and Museum, located in Hopewell Township, Pennsylvania. Over 400 video games and pinball machines there for you to play. It's all vintage. It's all good. So come on out and play it over at the Pennsylvania Coin-Operated Gaming Hall of Fame and Museum, located in Pennsylvania. For more information on the Gaming Hall of Fame, go to www.coinophof.com. And now let's get to it on another edition of the best of the Classic Metal Show. It is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That, of course, was the damn Yankees with a tune that most of you have not heard called Bone Stripper. And on the line right now, the bone stripper of all that is rock and some metal, it's Jack Blades. Jack, how are you, man?
I'm great. Boy, you pulled that one out. I had Bone Stripper. I haven't even heard about that song in years.
Well, I figured I could go with High Enough or, or any one of the 15 Night Ranger hits, but go with something that people aren't so familiar with, right?
There you go. There you go.
Excellent. Well, Jack, I got to say, I saw you last Friday over at the Roxino, and just a great show as always, man. I actually, the first time I saw Night Ranger was on the third album, a million years ago, it seems like.
Wow. Like Seven Wishes album.
Yeah, Seven Wishes. And it seems like you guys have more energy now than you did then. And you guys were high energy back then. It's really kind of amazing.
Well, it helps to have a place like, coming to a town like Cleveland, such a rock and roll town, and we have Night Ranger has a lot of history with Cleveland. I mean, we kind of broke out of there with the radio station WMMS. Right. Kind of broke our whole thing back in, with Dawn Patrol back in the, 1983, I think it was, 1982, 1983. And so, I mean, we just love it when we go to, Cleveland. Yeah, the audience was crazy. It's always fun. Sold out shows are always nuts. The people are psycho. It's always good.
Sure. Now, Jack, with Night Ranger having, somewhat of a resurgence the last 5-6 years, it seems like you guys' profile is raised back up again. What possesses you to launch, a new project, which we're going to talk about, like Revolution Saints?
Well, I'm one of those guys. It's just, music all the time for me. I just love playing. I love recording. I love touring. I love, being up on stage. It's just everything, and I kind of, I've always been that way. If you've, just noticed over the years and everything like that, with all the different things like from, Shaw Blades and of course Damn Yankees, and then a TMG group in Japan, and just all in songwriting and everything like that. I just like to keep my hands in a lot of different things, and so it was kind of fun when this was the opportunity arose to play with Deen Castronovo, the drummer from Journey, and of course Doug Aldrich on guitar. So. Sure.
And what's interesting is that, of all the projects, which you named a bunch of them, those are, for the most part, those are all pretty rockin', harder-edged projects, with the exception of Influence, which, was what it was, which was, doing covers of classics. But all the rest have been really kind of harder-edged things, where Revolution Saints is very subdued, I guess, for you, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean it's not ripping guitars as much as people might think when they hear the lineup, especially with you and Doug in the band.
Well, I think it's pretty. I think once they get into the record, they'll realize it's a pretty ripping record. I mean, there's a lot of, I told Doug, I said, you just go for it. My job in Revolution Saints was just to make Doug and Deen look good, and Deen Castronovo being this is the first time he's like been the lead singer on an entire album.
Sure.
I mean, he sang all the leads. I co-sang one song with him. We split it, and but I mean, it's just, I mean, that the tracks on Revolution Saints are pretty slamming, man. I mean, it's pretty good stuff. It's pretty slamming stuff.
Sure. Oh, I like the record. I guess what I was trying to say is it's a little. Night Ranger has just some hard-edged songs. You're Still Rockin' America, and, Eddie's Coming Out Tonight, stuff like that. And And these feel more Journey-ish, I guess. And not that Journey's a bad band, but and maybe it's just because Deen sounds so much like, you know, Arnell or Steve Perry or whatever. Maybe that's what gives me that impression.
That's probably that is probably what it is. But still, it's like, you know, like the first song on the record, "Back on My Trail," is pretty rocking, and yeah, it's like I'd just say it's a good combination of Journey, Night Ranger, you know, a lot of stuff, and you know, Doug brings his great talent into it with all the things he's done over the years with Dio and Burning Rain and everything like that. And
right.
So, pretty good stuff.
Sure, it definitely is. Now, talk a little bit about how the band came together, Jack. You know, obviously, it's being claimed as a super group, as it should be. You all have had significant success, but how do you connect with these two guys, or do they connect with you?
Well, Deen and I have been friends for years and years and years. I mean, it first started. I mean, I think in 1983 or 1984, our Night Ranger's lighting director managed his band, the Wild Dogs. It was a band out of Portland, Oregon. So I've known Deen forever. So I've known him through all his, you know, I mean, through playing with Ozzy, playing with Hardline, playing with Bad English, of course, Journey. And Night Ranger's toured with Journey so much. Deen and I have been great friends for 20-something, 25 years. And so really, it was a natural when I was offered, like, hey, you look, we're doing this record, and Deen's going to sing lead on it, and he wants, he was thinking about you playing bass and stuff like that. And I jumped at the chance because I've always enjoyed hanging out with Deen and playing with him and everything like that. So that just fell into place like that. And then really this was all put together by Serafino, the president of Frontiers Records, our record company. And then he came up with the idea of, like, how about Doug Aldrich? And Doug was somebody that I know. I've met him a few times. I've played shows with his band, a couple times. Night Rangers played with his band, like once or twice or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so I've always wanted to play with him because, Doug's an amazing guitarist. I mean, he's just a great guitarist. And I've been blessed to have been able to play with some of the best guitarists. I mean, Ted Nugent, Tommy Shaw, Brad Gillis, Jeff Watson, just everybody. Tak Matsumoto from the Bees, I mean, for the TMG thing. I mean, just amazing guitarists. And Doug just, he's right up there. I mean, he's just one of the best. So I jumped at the chance to be able to play with this combination. Sure.
Now, how did the songs come together? Were they already written when you came in, or did you write them?
Yeah, they were already written when we came in. I co-wrote the lyrics on one of the songs, but on the song that's the single. But pretty much everything else was written like that. They had this thing organized to do it. I originally thought it was like Deen's solo record. That's basically what I thought I was getting involved in, and it was like, and then it just sort of like morphed into Revolution Saints.
Sure. Now we talked a little bit about how good a singer Deen is and how much he does have that Steve Perry, Arnel Pineda, Steve Augeri type of feel to his voice. Do you think that people are going to be surprised? And more to the point, do you think that this will be his breaking out point? As a singer, to match his drumming ability.
Well, I just think first of all, he's an insane drummer. I mean, he's just awesome as a drummer, and I can't believe, after hearing all this stuff, I can't believe that he waited this long to like sing leads on, to be the lead singer in a band.
Right.
His voice is so good. I mean, he kind of like scratched the surface last year when he sang a few of the songs on Neil Sean's solo record, So You, which I co-wrote a lot of the lyrics on that record with Neil, and so, he kind of, like I said, scratched the surface on that. But, I mean, he just comes out with guns blazing on this record. And he's just amazing. And he's one of those guys that, man, I'm with him in the studio. He just goes in there and just sings it. It's like everything we did was like first and second take. It was like that was it. It wasn't like, obsessing over something or doing this and that. That's how good Deen is.
Sure. Now with Revolution Saints, Jack, as you said, it was all prepackaged when you came in, or for the most part, it was prepackaged. Now that you guys have worked together and are working together, do you think that this will become a full-fledged band and not a project? And two, do you think that the sound itself might change a little bit when you write as a team?
Well, I think that we've already talked about that, and we've talked about doing that, and if we, if and when we do another Revolution Saints record, we will definitely, the three of us, get together in a room and start hashing through stuff, and I think that would be, I think we wanted to do that. It's when we were doing this original record, that was the goal, but there just wasn't any time with Journey's touring schedule and Night Ranger's touring schedule and releasing, records that we were, both releasing, and so there was just really no ability to do that. What we're going to try to do is do that, actually get a jump on it and do some of the stuff this maybe for a week in June this summer.
Oh, very cool. Excellent, man. Well, dude, as I said, I was at the Night Ranger gig last week, and one thing that really struck me watching you guys play, and specifically you and Brad a couple of times came over to either side of the stage. I was over on Kerry Kelly's side, and just was yelling out how much he loved his job. And literally you could see that was your same exact emotion. So I'm curious, who loves their job more, you or him?
Yeah, that is a funny thing. We just, the nice thing about Night Ranger is, I mean, we're just like firing on all 8 cylinders right now. I mean, it just is. It's just, the band's on fire, and just, we laugh and joke and everything like that. I just remember, last year we played, I don't know where we were playing with somebody, and we were the manager of this other band, whom I'm not going to name. He was in our dressing room with us, and we're all like telling jokes, all 5 of us, and we're just laughing and just having just enjoying everything. And everybody left after. He looked at me and he goes, "Man, all you guys actually like each other, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You guys really have fun with this, don't you?" I'm like, "Well, yeah. Doesn't your band?" He goes, "No." And then we both laughed, and then he walked out. But the band, I think, when you have that sort of camaraderie with a bunch of guys, and then you just walk, you step on the stage, the light goes down, you step on the stage, the audience feels that. The audience understands that too. And then then we thrive on the camaraderie of the audience. And you know how Night Ranger shows are. They're very much they're like an interactive video game. I mean, we get the audience involved with our stuff. We get them singing our songs, the whole thing. So it's just great. I don't know what the secret is, but I'm just not going to try to. I'm not going to try to identify it. I'm just going to keep doing it.
Right, exactly. Now, Jack, I talked to Damon Johnson the other day about his band, and obviously one of the things that came up was the long lost Damn Yankees album. And I'll ask you the same question that I asked him: are we ever going to hear it?
Probably not. I don't think so. I think over the years, we've some of the guys have used some of the songs, like Tommy, I think, used one of the songs on a Styx record. Ted's used a couple of the songs. I used one. Shine On was one of the songs that was going to be on that record, and that was on my first solo record. So that's never gonna see the light of day. It wasn't anything that any of us really wanted to have out there.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Although I'd still like to hear it, as Damn Yankees did rock. Nice. Well, Jack, obviously you're a busy guy, man. So what's on tap for 2015 for you, Revolution Saints, Night Ranger, other projects, etc.?
Well, I think you just named it all. I mean, Night Ranger is going to hit the road hard and heavy. We're going to Europe next month, and then we're going on the Monsters of Rock cruise, of course. And then we're playing a big show down in Puerto Rico right after that with Sammy Hagar and Bret Michaels, and we're just, Night Ranger is just going to be hitting it hard and heavy all year long, playing with a lot of different bands and doing our own shows and everything like that. And we're going to, it's a lot of going on. I mean, then Revolution Saints, the album gets released next month. I mean, the video's, flying, in YouTube and everything like that. And so, I'm just going to take it one step at a time, man.
Perfect. Well, Jack, before I let you go, I have to ask you what's known as the traditional Classic Metal Show question. You may have an answer, you may not, but we literally ask everybody. How has Lemmy from Motorhead influenced your career?
Lemmy. I love Lemmy. Lemmy from Motorhead is when we're warming up singing before we go on stage, we sing all our songs Lemmy style. Like, Sister Christian, the time has come. And you know that you're the only one to say, okay. You know what I mean? It's like, you can still rock in America. I mean, come on, the Ace of Spades. We sing everything Lemmy style. So he's definitely, Lemmy's on our mind every time, the the minute we get towards the stage, Lemmy is always on our minds.
Perfect. Nice. Well, for now, the record people can look for is Revolution Saints. It's a self-titled record. And Jack, as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track from the record. Maybe tell us a quick story about it. So what would you like us to wrap this up with?
On Revolution Saints?
Sure. And if you want, you can pick a Night Ranger tune, too, and we'll play them back to back.
There we go. Okay. I think Night Ranger's High Road would be a great song to play. And then let's play Dream On. I like that one. Let's play Dream On, which is on the Revolution Saints record.
All right. Well, here it is. It's a whole lot of Jack Blades right here on your Classic Metal Show.